gentlemen, what an event we have here for you this evening. We welcome you, of course, to our brand new home, this beautiful, beautiful Azamara Pursuit. This has been a long time coming. We have waited more than 10 years for this. I've been here on this company for 10 years, and when Mr. Pimentel joined as our president and CEO, he very proudly announced that he had no intention of being the president and CEO of a two-ship company. 10 years later, this is where we are. And what an incredible, incredible experience. That has been, what a journey we've had and what an experience today will be. That all comes down to a few people. So please be upstanding and please welcome our procession of our godmothers. We have Lucy Huxley and our president and CEO, Larry Pimentel. We have our godmother, Ellen Asmodeo Giglio, and Richard Fain. And of course, the master of our beautiful new home. He is Captain Carl. Please be seated. Well, just a very brief background to what we do and who we are. We are, of course, a very beautiful and boutique company. And this season, here on this very beautiful ship, we'll be going to more than 60 destinations that neither our two sisters, the Azamara Journey or the Azamara Quest, will be visiting. 60 unique destinations. We'll be staying later and longer in those destinations. In fact, we have 48 late night stays over the next season. 26 of those are overnights. We're absolutely staying true to our brand of Destination Immersion and staying later and longer. Now, what does this mean for our guests? Well, for those guests that maybe have been to the Mediterranean, let's just think of Saint-Tropez. Saint-Tropez is a different city in the day and the night. When most ships go to these ports and leave at 6 p.m., we stay later, we stay longer, we stay overnight. That gives our guests the chance to really explore further. We have excursions that take our guests into family homes, into local family farms, very small numbers of guests to really get an in-depth immersion into the local culture. That is a unique factor for us here on Azamara. Explore further. That's what we do. We allow our guests to go into the countryside to explore the local culture, the local people. That means an awful lot. Also, of course, we have very small ships. We're able to go to ports that large ships simply can't go. One example would be Seville. Seville is inland. Nobody goes to Seville. Large ships simply can't do it. We can, and we do. In just a week's time, we'll be in Bordeaux, inland. Captain Carl will take this ship inland, and we'll be in Bordeaux for 3 whole days. That is a differentiator for Azamara. Our crew, everybody talks about our crew and our guests. Our guest mix comes from 149 different countries. Our crew, 406 crew from 45 different nations, truly United Nations right here on board. This makes us unique, and this evening you will see why that uniqueness has led to this moment. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our multinational flag bearers and our drum corps. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our stage our own signature singer, Molly Burns.
Remember, morning always comes as night surrenders to the sun. No matter how dark it may become, don't stop your life from shining on. 'Cause nothing's ever over till I say it's over, and nothing's ever finished, not unless you walk away. You see, I've got hope, so you can use a little even when you don't, and I won't let go, 'cause a little bit of it can go a long way. I've got hope, so you can use a little even when you don't, and I won't let go, 'cause a little bit of it can go a long, long way. Oh, if you need hope. I've got hope. I've got hope, so you can use a little even when you don't, and I won't let go, 'cause a little bit of it can go a long way. I've got hope, so you can use a little even when you don't, and I won't let go, 'cause a little bit of it can go a long way. I've got
Our multinational crew, our drum corps, and Molly. And now please welcome the CEO of Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited, Richard Fain. Mr. Fain.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this as our first guest on board Azamara Pursuit. This is a big night for us, and yes, we're here to celebrate the inaugural of a new vessel, but tonight represents even more to us, because along with this ship, we also get to celebrate the amazing men and women of Azamara. Azamara calls itself the little line that could, and tonight, this little line, well, that's what Larry would say, this little line that could and did breaks its first bottle of champagne, embarks on a new chapter of growth, hope, and discovery. Now, we've come a long way since Azamara was simply an idea more than a decade ago. Back in 2017, the boutique cruise market was much smaller than it is today, a lot smaller. And we acquired 2 small ships, which we thought were just the hardware we needed to start a new cruise line. But you know these ships today as the Azamara Journey and the Azamara Quest. Now, how would Azamara break away from what was then a sea of sameness? As excited as we were, and we were very excited to offer upmarket, more intimate vacation experiences, we, so shockingly, weren't the only cruise line with small ships. So the first question that we asked ourselves was who could lead this effort to create something that was fundamentally different? Who had the imagination and the persistence, I would of course never call it stubbornness, to drive the kind of innovation that we needed, who was weird enough, but also focused enough to take over as the president and chief executive officer of Azamara. Now, at the time, I, of course, with everybody else in the cruise industry, knew Larry Pimentel and we knew his reputation. So I set up this interview where I was going to interrogate him with high hopes. I expected to learn more about his background, see his approach to solving problems. So we met at Bayside for lunch, but it quickly became apparent that I was to be the interviewee, not the interviewer. We ended up, that should have told me something right there, but we ended up talking until the restaurant made it clear, somewhat subtly, maybe not so subtly, that it wanted to close. And the rest, as they say, is history. In the past decade, Larry and his team have built something very important, a truly unique, that's an important word, a truly unique and well-respected brand. From the beginning, they quickly realized that travelers wanted to visit irresistible destinations and immerse themselves in different cultures. Now, we were intent on owning this space in our industry, and Larry even went so far as to coin a concept that he doesn't stop talking about, ever. And I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Destination Immersion. It's conceivable that those two words will pass his lips sometime else this evening. And it was the very foundation of Azamara and its success. Larry has continued to build on a brand with purpose that helps set us apart from our competitors. And that's actually a very interesting aspect of this, because, you know, they say that imitation is the serious form of flattery. And if so, Larry has been highly complimented over the years. A few years ago, the concept of destination immersion was novel. Today, our competitors employ the concept, all of them, to a greater or lesser degree. And so Azamara has continued not only to build on that concept, but to continually reinvent itself and refine its execution. It's really nice to welcome all of you aboard so you can see a very small sampling of that. And I should mention that I have here a Amex machine that will take credit cards if you'd like to see it over a longer period. Azamara Pursuit is everything that we imagined and more. A beautiful new ship, and I think very importantly with a fitting name. The ship represents the pursuit in discovering the world and its unparalleled destinations. The numbers all back this up. We go to 50 new itineraries, 73 new destinations, 63 overnights, 19 maiden ports, and a partridge in a pear tree. Being here tonight to introduce a new member of the family makes me so proud of what Larry and Azamara's journey have become. But I have to tell you that what makes me especially proud, and what I hope you'll all pay attention to, is as you walk around the ship, is the crew. Now, thank you. They really do deserve it. You know, and we're all, and you've talked to many of us, you've seen it, we're all really proud of the beauty of the vessel, the art, the architecture, the design. But what really has been the success of Azamara, and something that we really should applaud, is the men and women who work so hard, cruise in, cruise out, to take this vessel, which is after all just a tool, and bring it to life. So I would say to all, congratulations on a stunning addition to the Azamara fleet. She was well worth the wait. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chairman and CEO Larry Pimentel, Richard Fain. And now for the more traditional part of our ceremony. if you will please be upstanding for the American National Anthem, this evening performed by Assistant Cruise Director Amanda Poulsen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Please remain back your host to sing the British National Anthem, Tony Markey.
Gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen. And please be seated. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to have with us this evening both the Reverend Canon Andrew Wright and Rabbi Maurice Michaels, who will now give the traditional blessing.
Seeing in the course of our duty we are set in the middle of many and great dangers, and that we cannot be faithful to the high trust placed in us without the help of Almighty God, let us pray for his blessing upon this ship and all who will serve in her.
Since prehistory, with the story of the flood in many traditions, humans have taken to the sea for a variety of reasons: exploration, escape and refuge, challenge, and in more recent times, recreation and relaxation. The Azamara Pursuit has been built specifically with that last purpose in mind. In offering a blessing at its naming ceremony, I recall that Judaism has three elements to a blessing: praise, request, and thanksgiving. And so I want to incorporate all of these in my blessing. First, I want to give praise for all the God-given skills and talents utilised by those who have laboured in constructing this wonderful ship: the designers and the artisans, the bankers and the engineers, the professional teams and the individual workers. Their dedication and commitment has created this remarkable achievement. My request is adapted from the traditional Jewish prayer on making a journey. May the eternal God be with all those who travel in this ship, passengers and crew, leading them peacefully and without danger to their destinations. May they find on this ship the answer to their dreams and the response to their heart's demands. And finally, we thank God for all of the safe and successful past voyages of Azamara Journey and Azamara Quest, and pray that they, as well as the Azamara Pursuit, should benefit from favourable weather conditions, dedicated crew, and agreeable passengers in the future.
We give thanks for those who designed and built this ship, for those who run and maintain her, for the crew and for their families, and for all who will travel on Azamara Pursuit. O eternal God, Lord of land and sea, be pleased to receive into your almighty and most gracious protection this vessel and those who sail in her. Preserve them from all dangers at sea, that they may return in safety to enjoy the blessings of the land. Lord God Almighty, let your blessing be upon this ship and those who sail in her. May good success and your protection always be with them. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Rabbi Maurice and the Reverend Canon Andrew. And now, please welcome the rousing Reading Scottish Pipe Band. And now to introduce the gentleman without which we simply would not be here. He is our president. He is the CEO of Azamara Club Cruises. He is Larry Pimentel. Mr. Pimentel.
I'm just savoring the moment. It's a glorious one. Welcome, and thank you for being here. You have no idea how happy I am you are here today aboard the beautiful Azamara Pursuit. She, from my perspective, is a labor of love for so many of us. This is, without a doubt, a new chapter in our history. It's something very special. We thank you for celebrating it with us. I'd like to start by acknowledging so many deserving individuals who in great part have made this day possible. Most notably, I'd like to thank our chairman and CEO, Richard Fain. Richard placed his faith in a notion I had some 10 years ago, and he has been a champion along the way. Thank you, Richard, and the entire board of directors for the support in making this day possible. To our crews, on Pursuit, on Journey, and on Quest, you are simply extraordinary. Truth be known, our guests arrive from magnificent destinations, and truth be known, they return because of our cruise. To our shoreside teams, here in the UK, in the United States, in Australia, and certainly around the world, your passion, your drive, your dedication has created excellence. I'm very grateful. I love our teams. They're amazing. I love that they inspire me each week, each month, and every year. To our travel partners and the members of the press, thank you for telling our unique destination story. Most of all, this ship is created for our guests. They are the passionate ones who fell in love with the concept of Azamara Club Cruises and its unique notion. Richard, it's called Destination Immersion. Let me tell you a bit more about our guests. They appreciate the gift of travel. They comprehend it and its power. They are cultural connoisseurs. They love being enriched and digging deeper by understanding through human connection. They love experiences. They focus on the authentic, on things that are local, on things that are enticing and personally enrich them. They have an explorer state of mind. And Azamara is a brand with a purpose that fits their exact desire. We invite our guests to explore further as the Azamara Pursuit, like its sister ships, will stay longer and more nights and late nights and overnights than any other cruise line. This is a boutique ship. It is a small hotel at sea guided by a captain and a crew who make it their personal mission to deliver authentic and not formal experiences. We are fortunate to have Captain Carl at the helm. Captain, I admire you as a navigator. I admire you as a passionate driver of quality, but most of all, I admire your humanity and your leadership of our cruise. Thank you. I also want to reference Hotel Director Richard. Richard is constantly on the move and eager to constantly please and improve. Obviously, there are so many people to thank on this day, given these special ships, that I'd take up many hours doing so. Let me just say to all of our colleagues that we are a family, a serious business, but a family with a mission, because this is a brand with a purpose. The launch of Pursuit enters a new chapter. It's worth taking a look at some pretty remarkable milestones along the way. Most importantly, the day paints a picture of just how far we've come in the years and the months behind us and how far we might be able to go forward. Our roots started in 2007. Initially, a new cruise line would be created called Azamara Cruises. In 2009, when Richard offered me the privilege of bringing my vision as president and CEO to the line, it was an opportunity that had great challenges, great honors, and great joys, one of the finest in my entire professional career. In those early days, we were concentrating on the smallness of the ships and where we went, unique ports. But we quickly discovered that small, while precious, was simply not enough. What could our claim be as a cruise line? Why would we exist? How could we be different? How could we offer human connection unlike others? This is when we evolved Azamara Cruises to Azamara Club Cruises. We took bold and decisive and deliberate decisions to build our brand around an entirely new concept that Richard calls Destination Immersion. What did this mean? Longer stays in ports, more overnights, extensive night touring, slow cruising, and locally focused experiences. Night touring alone in global deployments was a rarity. Destination immersion, that is connections with people and places and communities and cultures, is at the core of who we are, and it was about thinking outside the ship. This notion is so unique that the United States government provided a federal registration and trademark of the term destination immersion as it relates to cruise ships because they thought it was unique and distinctive. All of this came about at a time when the industry was building beautiful physical plants and stunning larger vessels. Obviously, we could not compete, but we did have the courage to see this as an opportunity. We had the courage to believe that small is also beautiful. Our guests were explorers, and we simply focused on their passion. In Q2 of 2010, we introduced an all-inclusive model and included our now famous As Amazing Evenings. We started in Tuscany in an evening that was magnificent. We took over 2 castles called the Verrazzano Castles in Tuscany, and we had an oral historian talk about the very room we were in that had the creation of the David by Michelangelo. We also surprised the guest and brought in the 3 tenors from the Opera House in Florence. And something occurred to me at that point. We were creating a product in an evening and in an area that wasn't Googled. You see, you could only get it in one place. We created it, and it was on Azamara Club Cruises. Today, we have this programming in over 70 countries in the world. We represented a world of wonder, a thrill of discovery for our guest. Our ships became a ticket to discovery and a theater to the world. We hit our guest explorer state of mind. Discovering something new is at our very core. It is enriching. It is a feeling of awe and perhaps fulfillment when one discovers something new, something authentic, and something local. These actions filled our ships, improved rates significantly, improved load factors, and produced some of the highest Net Promoter guest scores that the brand had ever seen. So here we are celebrating the introduction of the Azamara Pursuit, our 3rd sister ship with 50% additional capacity that allows us, starting next year, to to sail to 7 continents. We are creating a massive connection with land operators, and the hottest forward-selling item is South Africa with Mikado Tours, as we have 5-day African safaris. We are selling ships and land holidays. We're putting together rail and sail programs, classic train experiences with our ships to some of the most unique places, partnering with Belmont's Orient Express, Rocky Mountaineers, and others. We will touch on over 400 ports annually, slow and easy, and with cultural extension. We're offering very vast country intensives. Can you imagine one country and a focus on one country? Because the research showed that guests had bucket lists. What if we could completely circumnavigate Japan or perhaps New Zealand or elsewhere and really focus on a country? These are some of the most significant sails of the future. We had specialty voyages we've always had in places like the Grand Prix at Monte Carlo, or perhaps Carnival in Rio, where we would sit ships, or perhaps you were a golfer and the ship simply went to the British Open, and that was your passion. We've also created new journeys where the journey, quest, and pursuit together will sail together. In 2020 from Slovenia to Venice, and I will tell you, it will be one heck of a family reunion. I am generally thrilled that you are here today and honored to be sharing this event. It's a very special day for all of us. This is just the beginning of our journey. I am thankful, and with that in mind, I would like to have introduced the Beacon of Hope. The Beacon of Hope, ladies and gentlemen, was created by Andy Scott, and this Beacon of Hope, being held by one of our crew members, has been commissioned, one for each of our godmothers. The original rises 60 feet high, overlooking the River Langan in Belfast. She serves as a protector for all those who venture to sea. She stands on top of the world, holding the ring of thanksgiving as a reminder that all of us should appreciate and subscribe to peace and harmony. In our own Mosaic Cafe, the sculpture actually created a small version that you can see when you're walking through the cafe. This is a tribute to this great ship, to the crew, and to the fine workers who refit her in Belfast. Thanks to the McConville family and the extraordinary outfitters at MJM. They have done an extraordinary job with this vessel. Thank you. Each of you will receive a mini version as a keepsake in your stateroom as a reminder to take a moment to give thanks for the joys we do have in our lives. Another unveiling to commemorate the edition of Pursuit was commissioned. This is a masterful oil portrait of our godmothers and has been painted of Ellen Osmodeo Giglio and Lucy Huxley. This will be a reminder of their watchful eye and safe travel wishes for all who sail the Azamara Pursuit. This is painted on the finest Belgian linen and hand-primed in Provence. This is a symbol capturing the elegance and vision of these two amazing godmothers. Thank you, ladies. In closing, and before I introduce our godmothers, I'd like to leave you with something Mark Twain once stated that captures our value and perhaps the very spirit of our guests. Twain said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. Throw off the bowlines, sail away from safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Before Tony introduces the Godmothers, I would just like to make a few personal comments. Thinking about who would be the Godmothers of these ships didn't take me a long time. I wanted elegance, style, and professionalism, and you two very much represent that. I also wanted two professionals who were thought of so highly in their industry. I wanted somebody from the States and somebody from the UK. I wanted to say thank you to the agents, to somebody who always serves them. Lucy, thank you for that. And Ellen, your passion for deeper travel and understanding of humans connecting to humans is just downright fascinating. So I have to say to both of you, you have made this world a better place, and as Godmothers, you will make this also a better place. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is your CEO, he is our president, Larry Pimentel. Now, I have written a 27-minute introduction to our Godmothers. Unfortunately, Mr. Pimentel just did everything that could possibly be said. There is no more to be said than they are our Godmothers. Please introduce the first of them, who is the editor-in-chief of Travel Weekly, that is Lucy Huxley. Lucy.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Richard. And good evening, everyone. It is with a great sense of pride that I address you as one of the Godmothers of this beautiful ship, and I am privileged to join Ellen on the stage today. While it is, of course, a humbling experience to stand before you all, I am grateful to have the opportunity to do so on behalf of the travel trade, who are so important to Azamara Club Cruises, and particularly on behalf of the wonderful readers of my own publication, Travel Weekly, without whom I would not be here now. For more than 2 decades, I have reported on and championed the growth of the cruise industry, which in the UK has grown from a niche tourism product to one which is now an established and increasingly popular holiday choice. My passion for the industry has been driven by its commitment to perpetual innovation, evolution, and even revolution, continually pushing the boundaries and curating experiences which will last a lifetime. Nowhere is this commitment to richly rewarding and culturally immersive experiences more apparent than in the work of Azamara Club Cruises, which makes it even more special to be here today to christen this wonderful ship, Azamara Pursuit. It is my honor to become an official member of the Azamara family and guardian of Pursuit's extremely talented and loyal crew. Holidays, vacations, whatever your preferred term, are so much more than a few days away from the office. They enrich, they bond, and they create an understanding of diverse destinations and cultures around the world, which is needed now more than ever before. Nobody is more aware of that than the readers and industry partners that I have been privileged to inform, represent, and celebrate in a career of which this is undoubtedly a very unexpected high point. So my thanks go to my colleagues and my team at Travel Weekly, to the members of the cruise industry with whom it is a privilege and a joy to work, and of course, to the inspirational luxury Larry Pimentel and his brilliant team at Azamara for bestowing on me this enormous honor. Thank you all very much indeed.
And gentlemen, please welcome to our stage the Executive Vice President and Chief Revenue Officer of Farm Media, Ellen Ashmedeo Giglio.
Thank you, Larry, Richard, and all of the Azamara team. I cannot say how excited I am to have this incredible honor, and I'm privileged to share this with Lucy, as we have both fell in love very quickly. Larry knew that. As a first-generation American, I was raised to have an open heart and open mind, which I'm grateful for, particularly at this moment in the world. And having a father who was a travel agent, who was very proud to be a travel agent, we learned how to love the world. And I've always believed in the power of travel and its ability to change lives, not only for those who go out and experience the world, but also for those they touch as they're traveling and those who they come home to. And it really is this, what we need right now is the fact that travel can create less hate. And that's something that Larry mentioned earlier, and that has really dictated my career, my friends, my passions, and my work at Farm Media, which I'm very proud of, where we inspire and guide travelers to go deeper, immersive, deeper, get the connection. I'm a cruise advocate. I've been cruising since I'm 11 years old, and a travel junkie. So it's no surprise that when I met Larry, we became fast friends, and it's based on our alignment and our love for life. Larry has clearly distinguished Azamara as the leader in immersive travel, providing opportunities to explore further. Today, we celebrate the pursuit. She will carry more travelers, globally changing lives and effectively making the world a better place. May her crew and passengers sail safely, and God bless.
They are our godmothers. And now, the man without which we all would not be here. He is the Chairman and CEO of Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited. He is, of course, Richard Fain. Mr. Fain.
Now we get to the official part of the ceremony, and we're going to start that with something from our sister vessels.
From all of us at Azamara Journey,
welcome to the family. From all of us at the Azamara Quest, welcome to the family.
So now we get to do the actual ceremony, and it's my honor to ask our godmothers to please come and join me, along with Larry and Captain Carl. And just to explain a little bit of the process this evening, we have, of course, two wonderful godmothers. And so if we're going to name a ship with two wonderful godmothers, we need two special bottles of champagne. So if we can put the video up, show where the two bottles of champagne are. So two Jeroboams. A little debate about how exactly one should do this. And what you notice is that Lucy and Ellen have really bonded amongst themselves. And so you'll notice that the two bottles are bonded together. So they need to cooperate to make this happen. This is risky. So what we are doing is we have two buttons to push. They send a radio signal to an explosive bolt on the cables behind them. Both bolts have to go. And when they do, they will release the two bottles against the hull. Hopefully both bottles will break and not the hull. So we will get to see that on the screen. And with that, I will ask our godmothers to do us the honor to name this wonderful new vessel.
We name this ship Azamara Pursuit. May God bless her and all who sail on her.
Your flags, we will have the biggest selfie in Azamara history.